I'm good. How's it going, Megan?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming, Jessica. So, I have Jessica Belz on today. And if you wouldn't mind just going through kind of your role with the NFL, I know that you were recently laid off due to COVID-19, but maybe just kind of talk about your role with them and then your path to how you got to where you are.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, working at the NFL has been the most fun job I've ever had. I got to work with the marketing team in many different aspects. When I originally started there, I worked for Bill McCullough's team, mainly more on the NFL Network side, which his team was so much fun collaborating and working together on the different campaigns for NFL Network and the promos that we worked on and getting all the assets up on the different platforms. That was fun to see that side of things. After a couple months, I started working more closely with Julie Haddon, who works on all the different programs across the entire NFL league. And so that was having a hand in creating campaigns for things like, our causes, My Cause, My Cleats, Salute to Service. Also working with the department that works in New York on things like uniform launches and designing events, even like the ticket stubs. Worked with other teams on, again, the NFL Network side or things like NFL Mobile or NFL Shop. So it was kind of cool to see everything from a bigger picture and how they all connect. We worked closely with our data and analytics team and our social and influence team so that we could make campaigns that were 360 degrees. So you see cohesiveness and integrated marketing throughout everything. So although I didn't work on specifically one project through and through, I had a hand in everything. For example, and the most exciting project of them all was the Super Bowl spot. Being in the pitch meeting with our agency 72 and Sunny and hearing it from getting it together through the brainstorming session and then into production and then into editing and then seeing it live with the live integration on the field in Miami, it gave me goosebumps.
Totally. It gave me goosebumps too. That's awesome. So now, if you can just briefly talk about your path to where you first started after maybe graduation, where your passions lied, and then maybe you can also tell the story of you and your stepdad and how you created that bond through football that I know that you've told me about, because I think that that's a really cool story.
Yeah, and that's honestly probably the catapult to where I am now without me realizing it. So, first of all, shout out to my dad, my stepdad, who I wouldn't be here without. But basically, it started. I went to college at Chapman University for creative producing. Shout out to Chapman because it's a great school. And I went in because I had this idea that I wanted to be a producer of romance movies. There aren't enough good ones in the world, so I wanted to make more. So obviously I'm the black sheep in film school because I want to make romance movies. I quickly learned graduating from Chapman that just because you have that path in mind doesn't mean that that's exactly what you're going to step into when you graduate. You just have to get your foot in the door, especially in the entertainment space. And so really, when you get into entertainment, the idea is you go work at least a year in an entertainment company or a management company. That's how people take you seriously. So I was able to get into talent management, worked for three talent managers, and that was a very interesting experience. I learned what I didn't want to be doing. So after that, I got into reality television production with my boss, Adam Reed, because he was amazing. For the 3 years that I worked with him, he really showed me the ropes. And I started as an assistant with him, and then he allowed me and helped me and showed me what it was like to be a producer for reality television. And so I quickly started associate producing and then became manager of multiple different projects. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there that long after getting that role, and also working with our social media kind of helped revitalize the different platforms for that company. There were some things happening. The company was merging with ITV and they were laying people off anyway. And I realized after some other things happened there that it just wasn't the place for me. And I really needed to step back and think about what I'm excited about. As much as I loved producing, it wasn't with reality television, at least not in that form. I realized it was a different form of reality television that I was excited about, and that was football. And how I got to that was really figuring out what I have a passion for. And I've loved football. And that starts with my stepdad, who I call my dad. When I was not, so my mom moved from Essex. And so, we grew up with football in our house, but that was not American football. That was soccer. And when I was 9, my stepdad came into my life and he brought American football to us. I didn't really understand it, but our bond, our relationship grew through every Sunday watching games together. Of course, I couldn't ask him questions during the game because focus. So I learned on my own, and he showed me some things here and there while not watching the game. And my love for it grew from a familial bond, that love of my dad and him raising me as his own, and having that connect with football is something more than you can describe as just a game. And I hope that everyone kind of gets that same sort of connection if they can. And realizing that I could connect those two passions of football and producing, what better way to do that than go to the NFL? I had no idea that I could work for the NFL. I'm a woman, I'm a girl, I was in reality television production. I had no connections to the sports realm, which, by the way, entertainment and sports entertainment, there's a curtain in between it. It's a very dark, not very translucent curtain. And so it's really hard to go over the different sides. So I used LinkedIn and I just cold messaged people and I just said, hey, can I take you for coffee? I see you work for the NFL. I'd really like to know what you do and why you like it. That's it. And after some time, Aaron Fishman, who I will give a shout out to, got me an informational meeting with Bill McCullough. And that meeting was great. We just bonded over our love of football, his of the Eagles, mine of the Packers. And it just kind of stayed at that. And then a month later, and this was 4 months from being unemployed, 4 months later, I got a call from Bill and was like, hey, there's a job opening. Do you want it? I don't know what it was, but yes, I'll take it. Yeah. So I ended up being on Bill McCullough's team with Julie Haddon's team, who was his boss. And that's kind of how everything jump started.
That's amazing. Yeah, what a cool story. And I mean, I think that it just goes to show you the power of social media now and how easy it is once you do take that leap of faith to cold message people and just start like trying to put yourself out there, and you never know. You never know what might happen, what might come of it, right?
Yeah, and I think being genuine and being friendly to the people that you reach out to, knowing that they can reject you or ignore you,
yeah,
that's courageous in itself. But then the people on the other side who accepted those messages and welcomed me and was open to learning more about me, that takes courage as well. And I think the more that people do that, we're going to become a more collaborative society and with really exciting ideas coming forth, especially those people who work at the NFL.
Yeah, totally. And to your point of being genuine, I mean, I think good advice would be that if you were, looking for work or looking to get to know about a certain landscape more, go ahead and meet with people for coffee. But like you said, keep it genuine. Don't go into it looking for a job, because people are going to kind of read on that. What do you want to get out of the conversation? If you go into it genuinely just wanting to get to know their role more for your own learning, and then seeing if a job might come out of it, is definitely going to get you a lot further than just going for coffee because you're hoping that this person's going to get you a job.
Yeah, and I think when you take that away from building that relationship, you take that factor out of it, people are more inclined to be honest and transparent and want to help you. And when they get to know more about you with no pressure, they're going to want to champion you. So
Yeah.
I echo that sentiment. It's like, just be yourself. They obviously know you're looking for a job. And
Yeah.
if you're interested and you're asking them about the NFL or what they do, I think that implies that you want a job there most
Yeah.
times. So they already know it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%.
And obviously, we can't get coffee right now. Maybe a virtual
Yeah.
coffee.
Virtual chat, virtual coffee. I mean, it's easy to set up and do. People, you know, most people have quite a bit of time on their hands. It's probably a little bit easier for them to respond to you than when they're working full time
Mhm.
in the office. So yeah, I mean, that's how this thing kind of started for me too, right? Like I graduating from university at Ryerson, I'm looking to start to build connections, and I'm thinking like people probably have time on their hands and may not mind chatting with me for a bit, and if I don't really get much out of it, I don't get much out of it, but chances are you will always get something out of it, and you'll always learn from other people's stories and sharing your own stories too. So yeah, no, I'm happy that at least there's some positive things that we can take away from being stuck at home.
I just want that human connection too. And I
Yeah,
think we're all inclined to listening to people's stories. We love storytelling. We don't realize that that's what we're doing. Um, but hearing, sometimes there's one thing that someone says that makes you feel something, whether
totally.
it's uplifting or inspired or motivated, whatever it may be. Sometimes you don't realize that that thing may happen, and it just changes your perspective, or at least gets you through the day.
Totally. No, 100%. I always enjoy hearing other people's stories for that purpose, that there's things and advice and, motivations that you may never have heard of before, and now they help get your wheels turning and thinking about, what inspires you and what's going to drive you to be better. Um yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing your path. Um, Now, did you have any mentors along the way? And or would you recommend for someone to look for a mentor or ask someone that they know could be their mentor as an organic relationship, to be their mentor if you think that that is beneficial?
Mentors are always beneficial. I definitely have, especially one right now, Julie Haddon. She has been my mentor, my boss, my friend, my champion through being at the NFL and through being unemployed. She is not only someone that will ground me, but will also be someone who encourages my ideas, crazy if they are or crazy if they aren't. She encourages different thinking and, letting your voice be heard no matter what level in the company you're at. And having a mentor like her has inspired me to be able to be open with others from all backgrounds, and whether or not you're at the NFL, getting messages from people who just want to talk to you and hear from you and hear your voice and your side of things or get encouragement. She's been great at that. And I think that mentors are huge in continuing your career path. I don't think it's something that you can really search for. I think it happens organically, and you have to be open to that and be aware of who may become your mentor or not. You need champions. You can't do this alone. You can't climb up the ladder, if you will, alone. You have to have your supporters. So not only do I have my mentor like Julie, but I have my support group, whether it be people at the NFL that I'm surrounded by of all different levels, people at other companies that I've worked, or even just friends. Without those ideas to bounce off and people to tell you whether you're being stupid or not, uh, you can't change and you can't grow. So it's something that will come, and it can start early, it can start later, but also be a mentor to others.
Yeah, I love that. And how do you think would be the best way for someone to be a mentor for someone else organically?
What do you mean? How it comes about,
Yeah,
or?
so I mean, because I think that's great advice, like especially for women in sport. I mean, we have to help each other grow, and we have to be, someone that we can lean on you and you can lean on us, and like you're saying, and having those relationships where if we notice someone that maybe we can help, we recognize how we can help them grow even more. So how do you think would be the best way to go about um, being a mentor for someone or helping someone in your field?
I think that I like what you say about women supporting women. We have to. And
Hmm.
if you just approach things with love and kindness and paying it forward, it's just going to come up organically. And a lot of times there may be someone who's just constantly invested in what you do. Just ask questions,
Yeah.
want to learn, be open to learning, because I've spoken with men who are, CEOs, CMOs, and they're still looking to learn. Those people who are still looking to learn and accepting different ideas and different voices, they're going to grow and they're going to change, because we're all constantly changing. And whether you're a mentor or a mentee, just constantly be curious and ask questions. And those who tend to keep answering your questions or keep asking you questions, that's how you find those relationships.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I
If
agree.
I answered your question.
Yeah, no, 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 you did. I know it was kind of a loaded question, but yeah, you answered it. Basically, just about how it's important to support each other. And, I think it can be very easy once you're in maybe a role that is quite reputable, or where you feel like you actually are starting to climb the ladder and near the top of the ladder. It's easy to be comfortable there and to kind of accept your role and not necessarily reach down to help others. And I think that's where we really need to help each other, especially as women in sport. Because I mean, I'm sure you've gone through it a lot too. I'm sure everyone has in their jobs where you can tell that there's people who have zero interest in trying to help you succeed. And then you can tell very clearly between people who actually care about, your success and wanting to help you get better also, because chances are it helps them grow as well, right?
Exactly. I think that when you invest yourself into other people's stories and really take the time to care about what they do and what they want, it's just going to show through your support. And those people who don't want to help you are probably dealing with their own things that are going on, and hopefully they can work through those, and then realize that they should be helping or should be passing it on. um, there there are people you'll meet who will reject you and will ignore you, and those are the people that should motivate you to say, I don't want to be like that for the people that are coming behind me or in front of me. You want to be the person that extends a hand, extends your knowledge, because the more knowledge we have, the better we grow. And so to the people who have, rejected you, ignored you, don't let it bother you. Don't let it be an obstacle, because they don't matter.
Yeah, I love it. No, that's awesome. It's 100% true. And that kind of moves into my next question of, if you were to have any advice for a young woman looking to get into the sports industry. I mean, you kind of nailed it with what you just said about, not really letting negative opinions affect you negatively. Um, but if you have any other advice for young women who are looking to get into the sports industry, or already in the sports industry but are looking to just, stay motivated and stay hungry and become as successful as they can.
Listen, if your passion and your drive is sports, like mine is football, just go for it. Stop letting yourself get in the way of preventing you from getting what you want. And
Mhm.
that's ultimately what happened with me. I didn't think I could make it to the NFL. I didn't. But I went for it, and I told every single person that I met, it's not about if I'm making it to the NFL. It's about when. I will get there. And that's what I say to all the other women, men, anyone who's trying to make it into sports or any dream job that they want. Just go for it. And don't stop. Don't compromise yourself and your ethics and your views and your beliefs, because that's what make you you. And we need that. We need that different voice. Even if you think that you are thinking completely different than everyone else who is succeeding, chances are we need that change, and you will also succeed.
Yeah.
So I say go for it. Don't mow people down in order to get there. And make sure you record this story for yourself so that you can share your story with others and how you made it there down the road.
Wow. That's good. Make sure you record this story. I love that. That's good. That's like something I will write on my mirror.
I love it. Honestly, to be honest, I wish I had someone like that when I was going through my journey to help tell me to go for it.
Yeah.
Because there can be so many things that come about that you're just like, oh, I'm too afraid, they rejected me, maybe I'm not right. I see this person who's, the CMO of the NFL or the CMO of the Rams or the CMO of the Eagles. They're just so successful. How am I going to do that as well?
Yeah.
And you realize you're not going to do it the same way. You're going to do it a different way. You're going to do it your way, but follow your North Star, because that's the only way that's going to lead you there.
So now that also was my next question about any advice that you would give yourself maybe 10 years ago, or when you graduated. Would that be your main point of advice, is to just not be afraid? Or is there something else that you would maybe want to tell yourself back then?
There are a few major points I would have told myself, which I still keep telling myself. One, and this is something that's very objective. Like this is an easy thing that you can do for anyone. When you graduate, build up your savings. And I say that because if you can have at least 3 months savings in your account, to where if you're unemployed or you quit or you get fired or whatever, you can devote your time to really finding what you want without worrying about your finances, because your finances will make you compromise settling for a job that you're not excited about. And I'm not saying that you should, go for your dream job and just go bankrupt trying to get it. There are different factors that come into play, but at least build your savings so that you can try and pull that factor out. The second thing I would tell myself is be patient, because you think you know enough when you graduate, but you don't. Mm-hmm. And I still don't know enough. And if you're patient and you use all of those opportunities and journeys along the way to help craft your story and craft your North Star, it's only going to help you get the career that you want. Because when I graduated college, I had no idea that I would be at the NFL. That wasn't a thought in my mind, because I didn't quite realize it yet, that was my other passion. And it took kind of I guess you would call it traumatic moment for me to step back and really try and reflect. So savings, patience. And the other thing is be different. Don't allow yourself, and I said this earlier, don't allow yourself to not do something because you think you're wrong. You don't know if you're wrong. There are so many different ways to be right, so many different ways to fail, and they're all teaching moments. So be different. It'll only help.
I love that. I love all three. And you're right, those are definitely objective, like they could apply to anyone. And I mean, with the savings, as as much as it sounds like simple, and we're always told this, but I mean, look at the time that we're in now, where we're in a pandemic, and especially someone in my shoes who is just graduating. And I mean, that's definitely something that I've been thinking about, is the importance of saving and learning early the importance of it. And I'm not faced with this now 10 years down the road where maybe I haven't been used to, the structure that I should have, or the budgeting, or the importance of saving. And now I'm able to learn that early, how important it is, because life happens, and it's for those, yeah, it's for those you never know times, right? And just a state of comfort too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, last question would be, what excites you right now about the sports landscape, and specifically excites you about the future for women in sport?
Well, first of all, I have to comment on Brendan. Brendan Minter is an NFL employee and just happened to. I don't know if you saw the story about how he went rogue,
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
basically decided to put this video out and work directly with the players to get the NFL to speak up. And that was the coolest thing. That's what excites me. These people that think differently and want the change. And there are so many people at the NFL that has this
Yeah.
in them, and they want this change, whether it be, for, Black Lives Matter, or for pride, or for women in sports, for diversity and inclusion in general. Like, there are people that want to make that change, and it excites me that change is happening, and
Yeah.
and I hope that it will continue to happen. And for women in sports, I mean, just seeing how many women come up to support, even me, I've been able to connect with so many women that are, I would say, high up in this industry, especially in the NFL, and just were so welcoming of having an informational with me and giving words of encouragement, that support, seeing women support women, regardless of how they know each other or what level in the industry they're in. It's so motivating and inspiring. And it's funny because every single one that I've talked to, we end the call and they basically say, hey, if there's anything you can do, pay it forward. Because I'd ask them, how can I help you? I don't know what I can do to help, but tell me. They say, just pay it forward. Talk to those who are graduating, talk to those who are in high school, talk to those who are making a career change. So the love, the change, the support, all of that is what is exciting me in sports right now.
Cool. Yeah, that excites me too. And like we were mentioning before, it's so nice and comforting to know that in such a competitive industry, there are a lot of people who are looking out for you, and who are there to champion you and to support you along the way. And I mean, it is a competitive industry, but if you show your strength and show your love and show your support, then yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. And that's really exciting, that especially you are along those people who will support you, and you found good people to be with. That's really awesome.
Obviously, I've come into contact with some people who aren't very supportive and
Mhm.
are quite critical, but I think those are the people that fuel you, that give you that chip on your shoulder to want to show them up.
Totally.
So
Totally.
they're quite encouraging too, just in a different sense.
Haters gonna hate.
And we just follow that up with love. We just, you can't have hate on hate. If you show your love, it'll hopefully just extinguish it.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Well, thank you so much for this chat. You've given some really great advice, and I'm so happy that I was able to give you the platform to share your story, because I know that there will be a lot of people resonating currently with you right now, with maybe losing their job and their roles, whether it's temporary or permanent. I mean, everything happens for a reason, And I'm pretty confident that hopefully you'll get your exact role back with the NFL, but you'll definitely be back with the NFL. There's no reason for you not to be. And I'm sure that you'll be on to bigger and better things. And I mean, we have a chance now to see history in a sense of how the sports landscape is going to change and evolve. And not only with changing from the business side, but now we have conversations finally that are more prominent about humanity side. And with the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, there's so many layers and there's so many great conversations happening that really need to happen. And I'm really excited to see where all this goes. And I'm excited to see where you go. And we'll definitely have to keep in touch. And I really appreciate you having this conversation with me and paying it forward, because I know that there's a lot of people in my shoes who are just looking to learn and to kind of try and find their own path and their own passions and help them find it as soon as this whole pandemic is over.
Well, I'm glad you put this story together. I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad that I could help in any way, because I see that this is something you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to navigate the space as well. And this is your way of learning and encouraging and paying it forward. And I appreciate you and thank you for doing it, because you're giving a voice to those who are afraid to reach out. You're giving a place for people to hear these messages, whether it's me or anyone else you have on this, to feel uplifted and motivated and like they have a chance, and everyone has a chance. So thank you for putting this together.
You're welcome. Thank you for appreciating me. I appreciate you. And thank you for looking so beautiful for this interview.
Oh, thanks. I had to do my hair. I haven't done my hair in
Oh my
3
God.
months.
Oh yeah, I mean, even my poor dog looks like I said to my friend the other day that like if someone just saw my dog like on the street with no collar, you would think she's just a stray. Like the poor thing, like I've bathed her so many times, but because it's getting so hot and her hair is so long and straggly, she needs to go to the salon too. Everybody
Hey, we're saving money from not going to the salon, so.
Everybody's struggling. I mean, my dad bought one of those hair razors, and I cut my brother's hair, I cut my dad's hair. It's like everybody's coming out with the COVID-19 looks, and we just all have to accept and love one another, because no one can judge anybody right now. We're all going through it.
Exactly. We're seeing who we are from the inside. It's a way to take all of that off. And
Oh yeah.
I've done my hair.
Okay, well, thanks again so much, Jessica. Enjoy the rest of your day, and let me know if there's anything that you need. And we'll keep in touch for sure. I'm excited to hear the rest of your story.
I'm excited to hear your story after graduating.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. I'm excited. I'm excited to record my story.
There you go. All right, well, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Okay, bye.